I wish people knew two things about modern dating. Number one, it is an absolute trash fire. It's a trash fire multiplied by cancer. It is a terrible, terrible, terrible system happening right now. And number two, I also wish people knew that there's a big ray of hope and that you can get better in it. How about you? Because you coach people in this space. What are you seeing right now? Let's do a coach's report from the battlefield. What are you seeing right now in modern dating? We can start off with men. I'm sure women have their own concerns, but what are some things you are seeing with your guys that you're working with?
I wish that women knew that they could be honest with men, that they could court them back in return. And I wish that people knew that they didn't have to play games, that it can be honest, that it can be upfront, that it doesn't have to feel like you are treading water and never feeling like you're going anywhere.
Talk to me, and I'm curious to this because I hear this a lot from my guys as well. Talk to me about this concept of women courting back for men, right? Because something I hear is every guy feels like he is just throwing money down a money pit and getting no feedback whatsoever. And then women just flit off like a bee to a different flower. And he's just kind of sitting there like, oh, I guess I dropped $300 for nothing. Yeah. What are you seeing? Is it similar to that? What are guys going through? How much are they spending? What are you looking at there?
They're spending a lot. They're really frustrated because they feel like the Chads are winning the competition and that there's no hope for them. I think that if I were to give women any type of advice, they need to show reciprocation, and a man needs to also wait for that reciprocation to take place. A lot of men will go out and take them out to dinner, and all this advice that you see from these channels that are women that say, don't accept a coffee date, don't accept a free date, don't accept the this and the that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because as a woman herself and as someone who, coaches guys, if a girl is not open to going on a free date, that tells me, one, what her values are, what she's looking for, that she potentially is not really super interested in you. Because why would I want to spend 2 hours with someone, get all dressed up, go to dinner, and for what? I would want to go for a 30-minute walk with you just to kind of feel it out. So that energy right there, I think automatically should disqualify you. And men need to vet for that more carefully, because I think that they would be less frustrated overall. Have a phone conversation before all this online dating. Pick up the phone, see if you can even converse or even start to have a conversation with someone before you actually start investing in them. I think we need to go back to just like some old school courting. What do you think?
So the guys that I talk to, it's astounding how much money men are dropping on first date after first date after first date. So if you figure a guy drops, it can go anywhere, because women are, especially in major cities, are expecting nicer and nicer meals. And they order the nicer dishes at those places to see if you can handle it and how you're going to react. So there's so many stories of women going out and, well, I'll have the steak and the lobster, but I'll take 90% of it home. I'm not going to eat most of it here. And I'll be here for about 45 minutes with you. And in the course of that 45 minutes, she has taken up $200, $300. And guys will go through, after 10 dates, let's say if it's $200, that's $2,000 in first dates that guy has spent on 10 different women that don't give him a second date. And they don't even talk to him like, hey, I'm not going to reciprocate. I'm not going to explain why I'm not going to date you again. So that's 10 dates. Let's say he goes on 20 dates. Well, that's $4,000 he has now dropped. And she gets women get a lot of free meals out of this. Some women date just for the meals. And I'm not saying women have to reciprocate physically, but women should definitely reciprocate emotionally, verbally, mentally into the relationship, and at least give some explanation about where she's at. What do you think?
I think that it's confusing for women because we've been told our whole life to let him chase, let him come after you, let him pursue you. So when we reciprocate, or when we basically give to the guys that break our heart or that, have hurt us in the past, typically it's those it's those top 5%, 10% guys that are getting all the options. So they're thinking to themselves, you know, why would I want to invest? So we're kind of dealing with like an aftershock of,
I agree.
You know, we've kind of had this type of a guy, and when a good guy comes along, I don't think that women know how to act. I don't think that women understand, okay, if I give him a text, will that scare him off? So there's this fear, but then there's also an entitlement that's happening with women right now. There's definitely a sense of, if he wanted to, he would. I'm like, where did that even come from? Why isn't it, if she wanted him, she would? So there's just a lot of these one-liners and misconceptions and a lot of advice that's going around and being viral that doesn't get you to the end goal. And that is to find your person, to be in a relationship, to, you know, understand why you're dating in the first place. What is it that you're trying to gain? If you're trying to get into a relationship, then I don't see there being a lot of games involved. I see it being pretty direct.
I had a client just the other day text me and say, I had a girl go on a first date with me, and she said, no, thanks, I'm not interested after the first date. Cool. And don't text me again. So he said, okay. He didn't send anything back. He did not reply. And a week later,
it's a little aggressive.
Well, and a week later, she texted him and said, why did you never text me back? And you said something in there that women love to be chased. I agree. But if men chase, the SWAT team is standing by to release the Dobermans, to bring him to the ground and then haul him to jail. And men can't chase because it's against the law to chase now. But women still want to be chased because you want a guy who has guts to chase. And that's understandable. That's evolutionary. I 100% get that. But a man takes his life into his own hands if he's chasing a woman nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not just risking rejection like it was in the old days, risking your village laughing at you, risking, you know, oh, that kind of hurts. Oh, I spent $200, even $2,000, like we just talked about. I am risking jail time by text and losing my job and my family excommunicating me because I texted you a second time when you told me not to.